hit up Jules on Hinge.
Oh, they know. I'm
Freaky ass nigga, you 69.
All right, guys. They're adding a new feature in Bumble, the dating app. 10 years after creating a new model for dating apps with its women make the first move feature, Bumble is opening the door for men to start conversations on its platform. Bumble is rolling out a new feature called Opening Moves that will let female users set a prompt as which male suitors can respond to initiate a conversation. The feature reverses a long-standing requirement by the app that women should send the first message to their matches, which Bumble said gave women more power over dating lives. Now, I was never a fan of Bumble. I never signed up for that dating app because I'm like, well, am I going to sit around and wait for someone to message me after? I don't feel like my hands are tied. And also, I do like to make a first move. I mean, I don't mind if someone makes the first move. It's just more rare. I'm just more like, I like to initiate things. But do you think that, this is just going to make them more like the other apps? Because that's what made them stood out. Do you think this is a desperation move? Because, we talk about them saying, like, this newer generation, they're just done with the dating apps.
I mean, I think that it's just them trying to iterate on what they've already done. They're still creating the opportunity where women have to set the initial prompt for somebody to respond. So that aspect, I mean, it's still like they're setting the stage in a way, but it gives a little bit more, I guess, of an opportunity for the guy to respond or something like that. I don't see it being a huge change. I think maybe I don't know what's been going on with their user count or the number of people signing up for Bumble, but you've got to keep changing things.
Do something.
Yeah, you got to be creative for people to stay interested.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, that was the main selling point for the platform. So for them to take that away, I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
I am curious to know, like, the difference between, like, the users on Bumble compared to other apps, because Bumble's also big on, like, they have a thing called Bumble BFF where people just look to find platonic friends on there too.
Yeah, I saw that they're updating, like, the badges or something now. Okay. So basically it's dating intentions, and what it'll say at this point is either life partner or fun casual dates. And they're requiring people to include more photos in their bios too, to try to get rid of, like, bots and things.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll see. We do have another article that notes, like, the biggest mistake that men make on dating apps, man. Do you know what some of them are?
Let's go through it. I'm trying to pull it up now.
Yeah, they say you've got no game if you're talking about a game. New research has uncovered the biggest mistake men make on dating apps: expressing their interest in sports.
Bro, listen. I have a problem with this one right off the bat.
You have a problem with them saying it's a mistake?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the experts noticed far more men profess to be passionate about sports, something that they theorize could be a turnoff for women. They say, we found that men may need to skip some hobbies like football, sports, and pubs, and instead indulge in more leisurely activities like travel, music, and grabbing a coffee to appeal to women. The research revealed that a staggering 23% of men express an interest in football or soccer compared to just 4% for women. Dudes, you're not going to score if you're worried about the score. That's what they say. However, there is one interest with the substantial crossover, and that's fitness or workouts. They say a sizable 21% of men and 14% of women have had, either of those words, fitness or workouts on their profile. So there's more crossover in, actual activity. But when it comes to watching sports, they say, that's a no, you're scaring the hoes.
It's annoying.
What's annoying? Like the fact that the percentages are off, or that they're saying you shouldn't mention it on your profile?
That you shouldn't mention it on your profile, that you have to hide a piece of who you are because women aren't attracted to guys who are into sports because they're not into sport. Like, I'm sorry, I have hobbies and things that I enjoy outside of, like, whatever it is y'all do all the time. I don't get it. I really don't.
You don't get it for real?
I get it in terms of, I want to make myself seem cool and appealing to women, but at the end of the day, like, if I enjoy sports, if I'm a huge sports fan, you're gonna have to succumb to that and put on my jersey. Like,
Put on my jersey.
That's what's gonna happen at the end of the day. We all know that. We've all dated women who they weren't a fan of any sports until they met you, and then suddenly they're a fan of that sport. They put on your shit and they go to the games and they cheer just as hard as you and all this other nonsense. We've all dated women where that's happened.
Listen.
So why the fuck do I gotta pretend?
I don't think it's pretending. I think it's just being smart. Okay. I don't think it's hiding who you are.
Not hiding a child.
For real. Like, I understood this because for me, like, I have hobbies. I love sports. But that's not something I would highlight or that I do highlight on my dating profile. Like, I meet people in person and I'll tell them I'm introverted and they're always like, I'm really surprised that you're introverted. You seem like very outgoing, because I'll show myself traveling. I'll show myself out places. I'll show myself like out at a sporting event, in a picture, something like that. But I'm not going to emphasize that. I try to just, leave it a little bit open-ended, but also show like, I love concerts. I try to highlight I love concerts and I love to travel. Things that I know that, I would really want to do with somebody else, and things that will probably attract them. It's funny that they say this because I see a lot of women actually noting sports on their dating profiles to attract men, and I think that's smart.
Exactly.
But they're doing it specifically
to attract men.
Yeah, so I feel like you have to play the same game. You have to do things that, that crossover, that have crossover appeal. So then once you get to know somebody, then you could, introduce them. I mean,
I could see that. I could see that now.
Listen,
I've been out the game a long time. I don't even know.
My ex is like all, definitely ended up watching sports with me. I created UFC fans. I created, Cowboys fans. It's a cult, but it's true. Like, they don't know until they get the experience. And then if they're cool with it, sure. I mean, I dated girls who aren't so cool with that stuff, but not like, we didn't never get super serious, because I feel like I do it so much that you have to understand it's a part of me. But we could have our separate things. It doesn't have to be we do everything together. But I don't have to advertise that initially. So I get this, and I try to like appeal. But it is funny, like I see so many girls be like, I love Formula One, or I love like golfing, or I want someone to teach me how to golf, or they put things out there like, I love the NBA, I love this, and I'm like, that's interesting. Like, okay, sometimes I feel like they do it a little bit. Sometimes some girls be like, I just love being on boats all summer. I'm like, to me, that's a different type of like, you make it a real.
You know what they say about boats and hoes.
Like, for real. Like, it's like, okay, some people put things on their profile because they want something super specific. Like, I want someone to give me princess treatment or just buy me things. I want gifts and things like that. I'm like, no. So I feel like you have to put out what you want to attract. I thought that was pretty good advice.
When you put it that way, I understand, but I don't know. I'm trying to think back to when I had my dating profile. I didn't have much on there.
Yeah.
I feel like I said, like...
I remember.
You remember it? It was like my height, musician...
You're like mixed 6'3" musician.
There you go. Listen, from an outward perspective, that's the first thing you're going to notice.
Sounds like J. Cole.
For real. That's why you're so hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah, this one woman, this could be the last thing we could talk about. It can be confusing on dating profiles. You never know, who the person is, what they're trying to put out there. This one woman, she breaks down like how she reveals how she's not skinny to her date. So she's a thicker girl. Jordy, her name is Jordy, from the United States. She took to social media to reveal that she takes numerous steps to prepare a potential suitor, that she isn't thin. You know, the comment section was apparently flooded with a heartbreaking amount of other women revealing that they do the same. She said that she has full body photos on her dating profiles and insists on adding the potential suitor on social media, you know, so they see like her other photos and stuff.
Yeah, she full body, all right.
And she she says, you know, still like the question lives rent free in my brain, like, do they know? But a lot of people struggle with this. She was like, you know, even with the full body pics, I'm still worried about if the angle is making me look thinner. You know, one person responded and said, you know, that her car broke down on the way to her date, and, you know, her suitor stopped by to help her and claimed that he left something in his car. He left her on the side of the highway and texted her 5 minutes later saying she was fatter than he thought and good luck.
Oh, snap. That's crazy.
He left her on the side of the road.
No, see, she need to report him to the police or something.
That's not a crime.
No, but you can't just... That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's mean, but it's not. You can't bring the cops in for shit like that.
Left her on the side of the road?
I know. If you're going to go out of your way to help her, how do you just leave her? Like, because that's crazy. At least help her and then leave afterwards if you don't want to go through the date.
Man.
But, I mean, for me, like, I try to show myself, you know, my full body. You know, I want to show myself smiling. Because sometimes I see girls and they don't smile with their teeth. I'm like, I need to see what your teeth look like. Like, I need to see.
I feel you on that. I feel you.
Like,
I feel you.
You know, I've definitely gone out with girls who are bigger than their pictures, but I knew there was a risk going into it, you know. There's a lot of tricks. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, I went out with this girl, and we connected because we both had pictures of us being in Iceland. And she also had, like, you know, she was a curvy girl. Mm-hmm. Her one full-body picture was, she had two. One was, like, her in the mirror, and it was one of those mirrors that were curvy, too. She was a little bit away from it.
That's oh,
yeah,
man.
Whenever someone has, like...
That's a cheat code.
Yeah. It is a cheat code. If you're ever wondering who's behind those mirrors, no. But she also
or who's using that filter where it's like the wavy thing? Have you seen that?
Yeah. She also had like a lot of selfies, but she also had another picture next to an iceberg too.
And of course she looks small
next to an iceberg. Yeah. She was nice though, but when I saw her, I was like, "Fuck!" Like, this was not what I expected, but I still, you know, had a good time. We still had like a good conversation and everything. But I would never like just leave someone because I know how much it takes for someone to get dressed and go out on a date. So to me, it's just like, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm not going to leave someone on the side of the road. But I do think it's important. I think her tips are good because like her adding them on social media, her putting it out there. I've seen girls who are a bit bigger, like literally put it on their profile, like, they put up a meme like your stomach kind of rolled up. This is what I look like, you know, just let you know. Or if you don't like thicker girls, I'm not for you.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's good because you don't want to show up and, you know, get something that, you know, you weren't expecting.
And and I think it's important for people to be honest and upfront with some of these things because at the end of the day, you setting yourself up for heartbreak, disrespect, whatever the case may be, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
No,
it's just not. It's not good for you. It's not good for the other person. It's not good all around. Now, going back to this young lady, she's cute, but I don't think she really has to do that much to make sure people know that she's heavy.
Yeah. But she says, you know, a lot of people related to it, though, you know, and I feel like it is important to, you know, establish who the hell you are. For me, it's just like I want to be as transparent as I can. Like, I would want someone to watch, like, our show, know what the hell we talk about, like, what we do. Like, you know, if you want to add me on social media, go ahead, you know.
What's your dating profile say right now? What's the bio?
There's no real bio. It just, like, says, like, you know, I'm only on Hinge. But it says like,
you hear that, ladies? Make sure you hit up Jules on Hinge.
Oh, they know. No, it's just like, oh, you're
freaky ass nigga. You 69.
All right, guys. It was fun. subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, follow on Instagram,
Of course.
Twitter, TikTok.